Hey! Hey there! Today I'm going to give you the summary, my thoughts, and breakdown for the recently concluded dev livestream for the Season 3 Episode 3 update. First, let's talk about the future updates. For March roadmap, notable mentions is that we will be getting another infiltration operation, new weapons, new Transcendent modules for Kilin, external component, Sharon's monthly balance. For April, beta test for the endgame content onslaught mode. New Transcendent modules for Inez, which I am hyped for, Vies's monthly balance, my most anticipated skin set, which are the Jazz Festival dresses, and more quality of life improvements. Let's officially start this video by talking about Daya. Daya is a fusion and singular chill descendant who's focused in close combat. Her passive ability gains critical hit rate based on HP when you're using a melee weapon. You need about 34,600 HP to reach the maximum base critical hit rate bonus. You also receive bonus skill power based on her custom resource called Delight, which can be obtained through using Glacial Clash for a maximum of 35% skill power increase. Her first ability, Glacial Clash, recovers her custom resource depending on how long you hold the skill down. It has 3 stacks with relatively short cooldown. This ability deals AoE damage and inflicts Snowflake that deals another instance of AoE damage on melee attack. Her second ability deals an AoE damage while recovering Daya's HP, buffing Daya's defense and critical damage. Using Glacial Breakthrough from her first ability grants increased movement speed and duration. Her third ability fires an Avalanche, which is a slow-moving sphere that tows enemies. Hitting the enemies with her first ability while the tow is active will trigger Chill Explosion that deals AoE damage, which increases the effects based on the number of Chill Explosions triggered within the same Avalanche. Her fourth ability fires a slow-moving sphere that deals DOT damage, and it kinda looks similar to Eugen's Battlefield Medic ability. Sadly, the fourth ability without her Descendant module wasn't shown, so I couldn't take a look at the effects. Her first module is called Blooming Ecstasy, which allows Daya to impale enemies when using her first ability. This also modifies her fourth ability, increasing range and damage based on the charge time instead of throwing a slow-moving sphere. Her second Transcendent module is called Chill Brand, which modifies her second, third, and passive ability, which increases her single target capabilities and converts the archetypes into fusion. The passive ability now also has a chance to deal additional damage instance when hitting enemies inflicted with Chill Brand with abilities. The second ability is now modified, and using the ability consumes Chill Brand to attack targets inflicted with Wedge Tracking. You can summon 6 total Chill Brands, and each has its own damage instance. Chill Brand continuously attacks the enemy until the debuff has been removed. The third ability no longer inflicts tow. This now launches Daya towards the enemy. Hit count and damage increases based on the charge time. This ability inflicts the Wedge Tracking debuff, so you can use your second ability to send Chill Brand out to damage the inflicted enemy. One thing to also note is that the devs allowed the trading for Daya's Ancestor Module immediately when the patch drops, and I will be buying some unrolled Ancestor Modules if you want to sell them to me. Overall, Daya looks very simple to build, mainly because she's a crit descendant. I already have builds for her in mind, which I will discuss deeper in a separate video, but I will be needing more testing. More on Daya when update drops. For now, let's see her skins. This can be obtained through the login event on the 21st day. We also have her intensive regeneration suit, which Daya was wearing in the medical pod, that could be obtained in the battle pass. Her third skin is the Oblivion skin, which I believe can be bought through the shop. She also has other hairstyles and I assume some makeups. Here is the new trailer for the new episode showcasing the new infiltration operation, weapons, bosses, and Daya.
The day has almost arrived.
Pretty cool trailer as always, but I hope that the grind is different this time for the new dungeon, since they mentioned that the devs have eased the efficiency similar to Sigma Sector's farming efficiency. The exposed underwater base is a new infiltration operation added to Axion. This is where you'll be able to grind Dias blueprints and materials, probably will also have the weekly Ancestor Module rewards. This dungeon has an effect where Vulgus are tougher the more they are in an area, and there will be random champion Vulgus which deals lightning strikes periodically. There will also be 2 new weapons. E-Buster is a farmable weapon that synergizes well with electric attribute Descendants. Just like the new Fallen Hope where certain skills are needed to activate the ability, this weapon needs a tracking projectile ability to grant the electric skill power buff. So this is definitely going to be a stat stick specifically for electric Descendants that has a tracking projectile ability like Inez's first ability. Using tracking type projectile also grants entropy energy, which deals a massive additional weapon damage that can trigger multi-hit. So this weapon is for sure a multi-hit stat stick weapon for Inez. The Eye of the Storm weapon is a special rounds beam rifle that has 2 different attack types: the Typhoon mode and the Storm mode that can be switched when pressing the aim button. Typhoon mode automatically targets enemies on the screen that launches attack at each targeted enemy. This mode accumulates Typhoon energy that will be used during Storm mode, which deals massive single target damage. This weapon can be obtained through the Battle Pass. Speaking of Battle Pass, the rewards are paying homage to the previous season's uniform, accessories, a spawn that salutes to Alpha, new weapon skins for Malevolent, Ancient Knight, Peacemaker, and the Eye of the Storm skin. The skins this time are common skins for female and male, while the Battle Supply shop rewards you with head skins for Valby, Eugen, Daya, and more. For the trigger modules, Focus and Expansion synergizes with abilities with HP Absorption, which deals AoE bonus skill powered damage, which increases damage the lesser your HP is, and decreases range the lesser your HP is. This trigger module for sure was made for Gley. Icebreaker is a new trigger module which synergizes with Descendants that utilizes the skill weapon type of abilities that deals bonus skill AoE damage against frostbitten enemies. You also get stacks which increases your damage against certain factions including Colossus. Overcharge Shield is a new trigger module which only Kyle can activate since it requires both charge and clash skill types, which provides Kyle a massive boost to skill power ratio by building up stacks before unleashing a massive skill damage. The new trigger modules are also available to trade when the update drops. These are some new ultimate modules that are used in combination with the existing trigger modules like Two-Face, Kill Chain, and Tactical Strike. We might actually be able to utilize Tactical Strike now because of the skill duration and bonus skill critical damage. Let's now talk about Gley's rework. And just by looking at the number increase, additional damage, build diversities, Gley's rework most likely will be better than Ajax. I am 90% sure. The focus for this rework is to utilize the frenzied state a lot more. Her passive was changed so that she now received life spears by chance when attacking enemies. The second ability is still the same but increased health restoration to compensate for the health loss during the frenzied state. The third ability now has more duration. Using this in frenzied mode buffs Gley's flat firearm critical hit rate, weak point damage, critical damage, and additional damage based on HP for a maximum of 280%. You will need 40,000 HP to achieve that. Gley's fourth ability works the same as before, but it now creates additional damage instances per hit and per weak point hit that bounces to enemies 8 times, similar to Malevolent. It also received a massive buff to the damage from 68% to a mind-boggling 911% skill power as additional damage. Massive Sanguification modifies her second ability, which deals damage to enemies in an area while recovering HP and power of life. This ability also applies Bleed, which deals continuous damage for a maximum of 3 stacks. The third ability remains the same but with the added base crit rate buff and additional damage based on max HP. The fourth ability's damage is decreased overall but deals additional damage per bleed stack, which deals more damage than the base ability at 3 bleed stacks.
For instance,
이렇게
in the frenzy state,
네, 이렇게 스택을 쌓고요.
we get stacks from that.
그리고 이렇게 단일 대상에게 강력한 피해를 입히는 형태로 변경이 됩니다.
Giving lots of damage to a single target.
Predator Instinct module remains the same, but they added multi-hit chance and multi-hit damage which further boost the restored relic build. Blood and Iron was changed to better suit Gley using melee weapons. The passive ability was modified so that Power of Life is obtained more often when using a melee weapon. The first ability is modified so that Gley now receives movement speed increase, melee weapon critical hit damage increase, and melee weapon attack range. The third ability is also modified to synergize with melee weapons, now dealing 2,100% skill power ratio as additional damage when hitting enemies with melee weapons. The fourth ability is also changed. Instead of equipping her unique weapon, she now deals an AoE continuous damage which increases skill critical hit rate by 100%.
Yeah, using a skill like that.
Explosive Life is the same as before but improved the cycle between gaining and consuming the Power of Life. Demonic modification remains the same but increased damage based on Power of Life and when aiming. It also now deals AoE damage which can be good for mobbing. Kyle is also getting a rebalance this month. Although it wasn't shown, skills will now increase its damage proportionally to shields, and his Ancestor Module synergy value has been increased. Synchronization values has also been adjusted for some Descendants. Gley's value decreased but her base stats will be improved when patch drops. From the looks of it, Gley will probably have a lot of build diversity. Her massive buffs could potentially rank her above Ajax if her abilities work like what I'm thinking. Regardless, I will take my time to select the best weapons and builds for her. Clairvoyance and Hammer and Anvil will also receive a monthly rebalance. Clairvoyance has been improved and it now shoots out additional projectiles called Frozen Spheres, which deals a massive amount of single target damage. Hammer and Anvil still has 2 modes. Hammer works as a shotgun that deals increased damage when unloaded to a single enemy. Anvil can now be used long range that automatically tracks the enemies. You don't need to shoot it directly at the enemy. Infernal Walker returned as the season's Abyss boss and they have adjusted the boss's stats to match the current standards. There will also be a new system which is only going to be useful for new players and returning players, which improves the overall farming loop. Standing orders are for new descendants that can be completed anytime, which works similar to a quest board. On the other hand, special orders are time limited. On top of this, the second part of the boost path will be available for easier progression. For the quality of life improvements, we will now be able to visit our friend's lounge. However, there will no longer be any lounge expansion because, as they mentioned, they will focus more into combat contents for this year. We are now able to research through the companion app Research. Web Trade Market will also be improved in terms of navigation. You can now filter desired options and value. For the new skins, we will have the Dancing Night set for Gley, Luna, Inez, Serena, and Harris. There will also be a dancing emote added in. More hover bike skins and attachments. There will be 2 new premium skins for Ajax and for Gley. For February 12, the lunar skins will return. Here are the skins for February 19th. This is the male common skin for Bunny, Sharon, Serena, Nal, and Daya. This is the concept art for March skins. Cyber Assassin type for Viessa, Valby, Sharon, Freyna, and Daya. Freyna's premium skin, and the skins from the skin contest winners. For April, probably the skin I am anticipating, the dresses for Viessa, Bunny, Inez, Serena, and Nal, and some sports skins. For the events, we have daily login event where we receive rewards for just playing for a set time. Increased drop rates and experience for various resources in certain operations. Accelerate Research Week where we reduce the research time by just playing. Login events for returning, new players for free growth rewards and Inez, and another login event for the Red Rider skin and Inez's maid skin. Last but not the least, probably the best at least for me, superconductive cooling unit cost for Ancestor Module readjustment is reduced by 50%. So farm your cooling units and save them for the weekends. There will also be some update regarding Xbox PC. You can essentially play your TFT Xbox account on PC. Overall, the update is good for me. I am 90% sure that Gley is going to become a better Descendant than Ajax after a rework if the abilities work like how I think they'll work. But we'll see. Daya is going to have similar playstyle to Harris and maybe even Inez, but you'll have to wait for my build video to drop. For now, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!